Namaste. Welcome to the MystiCOOLS. Victoria here, hanging out with the bamboo. Bamboo. This is a baby bamboo. I mean, it's like a second-year-old. Had it grow in here. Anyhow, welcome. Namaste. Today is embracing your vulnerability through sensitivity. Okay, so I've been on this like very deep, I would say integrating through the shadow, or another way to put this, another framework would be the subconscious. So doing a lot of dream work, going deep within the feelings. I used to say a lot, you got to heal it to feel it. But I got a download about not only like feeling the pain, but like facing it, right? So like, what is my lesson here? What am I going to learn from this? And how can I embrace this in a healthy way? So vulnerability, I don't think is most people's first thing. Like, yay! I want to choose to feel like a weak one out of the group. Like you don't think of like weakness as being an exciting thing to like, normally we want to show off our strengths, or we want to show people like we feel more confident. Let's say not show off like egotistically, but confident, like, I've got these gifts, let me share, and we feel more, inspired to do that. That's super cool. It's super cool. I've just been on a different journey lately where it's like embracing the weakness or having the fears from the subconscious come up, and like when they're like from your inner child, like hold it like a baby, like, come on, fear, it's okay, come on out. come on up to the surface of truth, come on to the light of love, and then hold it. It's like, okay, you feel like it's hard to figure out, your place in the world, or through the financial, like what, and then you're trying to be spiritual, and you're like, what is this, and am I grown up, or can I be my inner child? And you're like, oh, that's very confusing, I completely understand. So then sometimes, you feel vulnerable because you're like trying to figure out your place in the world, or who you are, or what your talents and gifts are. And a lot of times to find your strengths, like they normally come through the lessons, through the weakness, right? So it's interesting how that unfolds. So I'm beginning to go, wow, what if we just change our perspective as this is like a super positive thing to embrace our vulnerability, where it's like, like if I don't normally talk about like how terrible I am at math, like for numbers. I see everything in energy, and then when I have to put it down in number form, it's like my brain, it's like the circuits don't work, or so, and it starts like, and I'm like, does not compute. and normally I wouldn't say that, but like that's come up in homeschool, for example. I don't do the academic part because I've embraced that vulnerability of that's not my strength. But I do like read and write, and I'm very like into intelligence. Just like kind of learning from a deeper within yourself, also like through teachers and energy work and all this stuff. And Jesus attuned in heaven here. I literally went on my body, got attuned by Christ, and after that, you're like, that's the coolest thing. I'm just gonna focus on what I'm good at, right? So the strengths. But actually, Spirit said to me, you need to face the pain and go into the shadow so that you can like heal that, but also like in your 3D, the physical, all that stuff. And then also like be able to help others by being an example of that. So it's like there's no separation, right? Everything's connected. Strength with vulnerability. So vulnerability is just as beautiful as strength. So it's like if we embrace more of our vulnerability, we actually awaken to more who we truly authentically are, because you got to look at it too. Is it being judged as a weakness when it's really just your strength? Like, I'm hypersensitive and care and feel, and some people would be like, that makes you look weak. I've been told to just care so deeply. And also, like, sometimes it can be a little ungrounded, so I do agree with the spiritual advice I got from like teachers and stuff is grounding. Yeah, like ground in that vulnerability, though. Ground in that strength. Ground whatever it is and fully experience it, because it's a gift from God regardless. It's our minds that are like, oh no, or whatever. So I was like, if Spirit called me to learn math, I mean, I do trust God is the strength and the rock in my life, that I could learn it. Naturally, though, it doesn't really stick with me, but like really quantum ideas, science stuff, like spiritual science, like that information just and sticks right in and sticks right in. I feel it in different ways, and then I like to practice and stuff like that. So being attuned on higher levels, doing energy work, learning more about, like I said, I made a promise to God to, I was attuned by Christ in heaven realm. And then also getting training, promised God that I would say that, so make that clear. Also, I offer sessions if you're interested. It's one of those things I don't normally do because I forget that part, because in vulnerability here, one of my strengths is not really promoting myself. I barely can understand fully the depths of my magic, so it's like, what? And so basically I offer long distance sessions as well, and it works a lot with the Christ attuned me to work in transmuting like the karmic densities and your chakras and spiritual psychology, basically, where like your emotions and thoughts and fears and feelings and dreams and blockages and things of that nature, just going depth into that. Also, as a teacher point out too, I also have a bit, it's like ascension and shamanism, so really going into the shadow to bring light to that. So my vulnerability is promoting what I do, but my strength is the magic that has been blessed to me to channel through. So you see what I'm saying? Like, both of them are beautiful because it gives me an opportunity to learn more about like the human, mind and practicalities and things like that in a loving, unconditional way, because what the business we do is all spirit based, God first, all things follow. So it's really beautiful how that is in our personal story. So yeah, I was recommended to tell people about sessions that we offer. So if you're interested in any kind of like deep integration work or shadow work or ascension work, or you're going through ascension symptoms, stuff like that, leave a little message and we'll connect with you. All right, blessings. So yeah, so embracing your vulnerabilities, because they're like the humility of being honest to myself and others. I felt strength about math, So in homes, I'm like, Sebastian's like, Mom, we're not very good at this. And it's like, no, I'm not. And I'm okay to like be at peace with saying that. But I literally sat through that lesson, and it was like one problem for an hour. That was enough for me. I did my best though, like to understand, volume, all this geometry put into, algebra and formulas. And I was like, okay. And I listened attentively and I really participated for that hour. But after that, it's like we were 1 point off, and I was like, yeah, I'm not into math, but I'm really grateful that I could learn how honest I can be with others and not ashamed to be weak at other things and vulnerable and stuff like that. So there's a liberation you feel when you stop trying to be something you're not. And when you be who you are, you're like, yeah, I'm a hypersensitive, loving, caring person. I feel deeply people's emotions and stuff, and like to work on guiding them through things that aren't commonly talked about. But that's me. I'm uncommonly, doing uncommon things all the time. So I just really am grateful to be myself. And that vulnerability allows me to be myself, which feels like being empowered and liberated. So I highly advise following your own true authentic calling, even through the depths of really appreciating, embracing your sensitivity and vulnerability. I feel it's very strong to allow yourself to be vulnerable and to really, really like learn more about yourself. It's amazing what can come out of your character when being like humble or honest or given an opportunity to embrace vulnerability is a great way to like really learn about yourself more deeply. Well, thank you for being here, and namaste, peace and love to you. And so if you like this channel, hit the like button and subscribe and do all that jazz. All right, blessings, namaste.